Hello, I'm Jägermeister, and I'll be playing as Denver, right?
My name is Zur, playing Geralt Kenshin, the oddly named Newbergenite.
Hi, I'm Suda. I'm playing Yvonne Horn, a slightly newer recruit.
I'm Hegemon Lur. I'm playing Caleb Archer, a pissed off commander whose motto is "What's mine is mine, and what's yours is mine."
Hi, I'm Brewy. I'm playing Devin Williams.
Right, so we'll pick up where we left off last time, basically. So you guys watched the Union land perfectly aligned in this park to only destroy some, like tennis courts and similar things that are basically cement on flat surfaces. Um, leaving the park bits mostly unscathed. As the thing lands, you see the landing legs extend, and the possibly surprising to you a little bit, the drop bay doors opening up and four mechs crawling, not crawling, but leaving the bay doors.
So Caleb will, when he sees them walking out of the out of the dropship, will key up his mic and say, "Who's in command here?"
Hey, Major, it's Idris. Good to see you. You guys look a little beat up.
Good to see. What are you doing here? I did not expect anybody to be coming. What the heck are you doing?
Tai said you would be too exhausted and busy to properly be able to guard the dropship now that it's grounded, and so she said you would need at least a lance of mechs on hand to defend you guys while you pull in for some bunk time.
Huh. All right, I'll take it up with her later. For now, let's make you useful since you're here. Let's set up a patrol. I want to know if anything gets close, and let's make sure that there's no surprises. Get out of my sight.
Yep, sounds good, Major. And he pulls his mech down the ramp. Out of the four loading ramps, one mech pulls out of each, and there's some quick lance communications between the four of them, and the Centurion and the Hatchet Man move to go down a block and start patrolling around. The Hunchback gets a position on the north end of the park, and the Trebuchet basically posts up near the dropship.
All right, Caleb will key up his mic to friendlies essentially in the area. It'll be audible, I'm assuming, to the dropship, but he doesn't care. And he's going to say, "All right, people, listen up. We need to get these mechs in fighting trim. I want you to uh, load up, get to your repair bays, and then I want to see all of you, in the conference room on deck Freya in 20 minutes. And I do not want to see anybody late."
Sir, yes, sir.
So,
Yes, sir.
okay.
Geralt will key up. I don't have a repair bay.
We've got an extra one. We'll patch you up. It looks like you got a scratch or two.
Yeah, some scuffs. Thank you kindly. And will direct his mech where he is directed.
All right. You guys pull in. Do a little bit of, because both Geralt and Yvonne wouldn't normally have repair bays in this thing. You guys get directed to some things. As you pull into your position, Yvonne, it's set up for a larger mech than you, and you like pull in, lock in your mech, and John Ito is standing at the foot. You are familiar with him. You know he is from the time when the Einherjar were a company on Solaris, and John like looks at you and says, Yvonne, where's Arnstein at?
Oh, holy cow, John! It's surprising to see you here.
I mean, yeah, you're in company too. I wasn't expect. I was expecting you here because we sent you off. But what happened to Arnstein? Suda, if you don't know, you don't have to know because you weren't here for it.
I am unaware. I'm just parking where I'm told to park.
So you see this conversation going on, probably who would be Caleb, Devin, and Morena would be parked nearby. So Caleb or Devin.
Devin, can you bring John up to speed?
Point of order, out of character. I wasn't here that week when we
Oh, of
lost
course.
Arnstein, and I did not know how to roleplay that. I'm so sorry.
Nope, that's I completely forgot. All right, well I can take it then.
Sorry.
Nope, it's all good. All right, so Caleb will walk over to John and say, "Hey, let's go find somewhere quiet to talk for a minute, and at least get away from the clanging and banging." And I'll tell John, "Hey, man, I don't know how to tell you this, but Arnstein's not coming back."
But what happened?
Honestly, I'm not even sure myself. We'll have to figure it out, but he was in the wrong place at the wrong time, and yeah, there's nothing that we could have done, and yeah, he's gone.
John kind of nods and looks at the. I mean, most of your mechs are in. There are a couple of your mechs that are just tore up. Most of your mechs are in decent but not great condition. He's like, takes a deep breath and looks at the fire starter and the fact that it's missing an arm and goes, "All right, I'll get to work and I'll do what I can for Yvonne." And he, like, you can see him kind of steel himself, and he walks over and starts commanding some of the Aztecs to begin repairs. Right. You guys get out of your mechs, and 20 minutes is just enough time to like stretch a little bit, maybe get a cup of coffee. It's the third deck past the conference room's third deck past the past the mech bays, or yeah, second deck past the mech bays. And as you guys start filing in, everybody's looking a little rough, tired. All the NPCs are well worn. Geralt, this is by far the worst coffee you have ever been offered.
I was about to say, While he will drink the coffee, every sip will be accompanied by the scrunging of his face in awful tasteness.
All of the NPCs are going to make it on time. What about the PCs?
Caleb headed right there.
Geralt made a quick detour for a cup of awful coffee and then made his way there.
Denver's there.
Yvonne knows enough to avoid the awful coffee and just headed straight there.
Devin went straight to the meeting hall.
All right, everybody files in. If you want, no, you haven't had enough time. So there's not enough time to get battle data back out of the mechs yet. That's one of the things that the techs will do in the next hour or so. But it's your party.
All right. So once the last person is into the room and not even really waiting for him to close the door. Who's last, by the way? We gotta have something with the last person. Oh, Irene. We'll say Irene was the last one in. Caleb will say, Irene, get in here, close the door, and let's get this done with. So then I assume everybody's going to settle down for a moment, and then Caleb's going to start off with this. Saying, all right, people, I have to say that was a very entertaining battle. It was something I've never seen before. You know, I think it was great for the ratings. This is one of the best viewing battles ever.
Some of the Solaris people are like chuckling nervously because they know they're like, oh yeah, that was a, oh wait, we're not, uh-oh.
I have to say some of my favorite parts of that battle were how the jumps to land on enemies were just perfectly framed for the cameras. Yvonne, that was one of the most just perfectly hanging there in midair jumps that I've ever seen.
Yes, sir.
You know, perfectly framed for the cameras that I'm sure were mounted on the turrets of that demolisher. In fact, it was so perfectly framed you lost an arm. That's good job there, Veronica. Oh, and talking about jumps, Moira, buildings not necessarily great to land on.
But sir, it was plenty strong enough.
You just asked Gregor. Gregor, how strong are buildings? What? Speak up a little bit. I can't hear you under all that rubble.
For the basements and yes, sir.
For goodness sake, just because it's an assault mech, do not let that make you think it's indestructible. We're lucky you were able to even participate in the battle. And speaking of assault mechs, Moreno, what in the world were you thinking of?
Okay, I'm gonna take over for her a little bit. She's like, but my awesome was fine.
Your awesome was Swiss cheese. You barely had any armor left, and you charge up to the front with PPCs. Tell me, Moreno, what's the minimum range on PPCs?
About 90 feet or 90 meters.
Yeah, so why in the world are you charging to the front lines in a mech that's got, oh wait, it has no armor left, it's all gone.
She takes a deep breath and doesn't doesn't respond again.
And if any of you guys are laughing, Bob, I mean,
He immediately stops
really,
laughing.
what do you think is going to happen when you charge a tank that's got a turret? It's not like you can get behind it.
Well, I mean, we didn't fight tanks on Solaris. It was fine. Behind is where you want to be.
Yeah, for a mech. And speaking of tanks, Devin, what in the world were you thinking, lighting your mech up like that? The only reason you didn't cook off all your ammo is you didn't have any.
Devin's going to sit there and acknowledge what you just said, and he's going to be fidgeting with his pocket where his mustard papers are, but he's going to be respectful and keep staring at you as you address him.
Nothing to say. Fine, we'll talk later. But at least you shot Yuri. Why do we have you in the Archer? If you're not going to do anything with it, you may as well sit here on the dropship and we'll let somebody else pilot who actually will fire his weapons.
Yuri's face kind of scrunches up. Says, you gotta give me some markers. Somebody's gotta call my markers out. Can't shoot my LRMs in a city like this unless somebody's got a spot for me. Give me those feeds.
You got more than just LRMs. If you have to get in there, get in there. But you're worse than useless if you're not firing. And, everybody else, give him something to shoot at.
Some half-hearted yes sirs from several of the NPCs. Especially the quick draw, whose name I've forgotten, who would be Irene. That would be one of their main jobs.
Irene. And I tell you what, I'm all for excitement and getting the kills and a little friendly competition, but Denver, Veronica, if you guys can't figure out how to stay safe and stay sane in your wagering, I'll ground both of you. There's no way that I'm going to let a little bit of gaming get in the way of good operations.
Yvonne, not Veronica.
Yeah, I know. It's Veronica today.
Yes, sir. We'll keep it to a minimum, sir.
Sorry, sir. No excuse.
Bob kind of he looks like he wants to say something.
You got something to add, Bob?
I mean, why shouldn't we yell at you too? You're as new to this as we are.
Yeah, but I'm not piloting dumb. I mean, honestly, we should have knocked through this without hardly a scratch. And we're down 2 mechs. We have our other assault that's got holes in it that I can see daylight through. That shouldn't be. Come on, guys. We've got to be better than this. We're not always going to have overwhelming numbers like we had today. So yeah, I'm not going to take it.
Question. Point of order. Am I the second ranked highest person in the room right now, outside of Caleb?
Yes, you're a captain.
Okay. As you're going on your thing, I'm going to turn to everybody and I'm going to address them and say, listen up. The major's right. Let's sew this up and let's be professionals. I'll turn back to the major and say, we're sorry for our errors, sir. We'll work to correct them. And I salute him.
Thank you, Devin. I appreciate it. All right, everybody's dismissed except Geralt. I want to talk to you about this mech. You got some serious maintenance problems.
When everybody turned around to everybody and said, you all heard him, you're dismissed. I look back to you and I say, Major, I'd like to have a word with you in private, please.
All right, let me deal with Geralt here, and then we can chat.
I'll stand by in your red room.
Geralt has surprised Pikachu look on his face. What?
So everybody else kind of files out. Looks like pretty much everybody's headed for either the showers or the bunks, just because they've been on their feet on their mech's feet for probably 20 hours at this point.
All right. Once the room's mostly cleared out, I'll turn to Geralt and say, "Hey, I appreciate that you joined in and you got in there and mixed it up, but man, if it was me and I had a mech that had faulty weapons like you got there, I'd think twice about diving into combat.
faulty weapons. No. The people that helped me fix it said everything was working as intended. It shouldn't be faulty. He starts turning to charge out towards the mech base.
All right. Well, we'll look it over, make sure you're good. Thanks again. I appreciate it. And then I'll head to find Devin.
So your ready room would be like literally it's your room, which is directly off of this room, but you can like convert it into like fold the bed up, have a desk almost in it.
Before you, Geralt and Caleb departed, were they going to discuss anything else? Lineage?
Probably you could catch Geralt heading out of the conference room if you wanted to.
Caleb's done with him for now. He can't think straight.
Okay. Go on with Devin then and Caleb.
So I assume I'm Devin's already in my ready room.
Yeah.
So I'll walk in and just sort of flop into my chair and say, "What is it? I'm so tired."
Yes, sir. And I turn and I shut the bulkhead door to his ready room, and I turn around and I look at him and I say, Major, I would never address my grievances with you in front of the troops. But there's a couple things we need to clear up real quick. You brought me in a frontier world, and I told you the reasons why I joined. When I was leaving House Merrick, I said goodbye to my family, my house. I had been betrayed. I had lost my father's battle mech that I had only ever received training on. You shoved me in this Marauder. You told me to learn it. I'm still learning it. After 2 engagements, I'm the only one bringing back a mech without hardly any paint scratched. Even though I overheated, I never shut down. And my philosophy is you put something in front of me, you're paying me to kill it or complete an objective. That's what you're paying me to do. Now, I will never argue with you in front of the troops again, but if you ever talk to me like some second-year tech scrub out of some crappy house again, you'll be looking for another pilot. Here's my muster papers if you don't like it. And I throw my muster papers down on his desk.
Cool it, Captain. I'm spreading it around. I don't necessarily have a problem with you, but I'm trying to build a unit here. And if we keep going the way we're going, half our pilots are going to be dead in a month. So I chewed you out. Yeah, that's true. But I'm trying to get them to hate me more than they hate anybody else. So I hear you. I understand. We'll talk about it more later. Dismissed.
I salute, grab my muster papers, and walk out the door.
All right. So Geralt, you step out. Denver, you waiting outside the room for him, or did I misread that?
Yeah.
So,
So Geralt, tell you what's your last name again?
He looks at you, turns pale red in the face, and says, Kenshin? Why?
It sounds like the names of all the enemies we've been facing. And they, and we've lost pilots to these enemies, and I just feel it's a little odd that here we lose a pilot and you show up saying I'll take his place, but What's your backstory?
Look, you don't think I got enough crap thrown at me for Kenshin while I was growing up? I live in a Norwegian planet. Yeah. Japanese last name? Not gonna fly without any form of, grief. And I was bound to join you regardless of. I'm sorry you lost the pilot, but I was bound to join you regardless. So I'm not sure what you're fishing for there.
Well, you may have caught me on a bad day, but you're probably making some of us a little nervous. You know, we'll be watching you, so just be forewarned.
Yeah, right. That's fine. Now, excuse me, I've got a mech to inspect. And he stomps off, like boots, like almost kid tantrum stomping.
Yvonne, what are you
Oh.
up to?
Denver, by the way, here's your 10 C-bills. I'm gonna go take a nap.
Thank you. We'll have to find less competitive ways of being more competitive.
I mean, we do have a gym, kinda. We could always, find something down there.
Well, I was just trying to inspire you to hit more targets.
Oh, I see how it is. Oh, ooh. I'll get you next time. I was close.
You probably would have had it if you hadn't been disarmed.
That's a real knee slapper. She slaps her elbow.
All right, well, hit your bunk and I'll catch up with you later.
Yes, sir. Next time.
All right, you guys can all from your rooms because you're an well, you would be anyway. You guys can all hear the sounds of heavy machinery and grinders and everything else going on below you as the mech's repaired. This is very familiar sounding to all of the Solaris pilots, as like you would be used to coming off of a mission and hearing the techs repair stuff. There were every mech had including Yvonne's Firestarter technician. So all of the techs for every mech that's here were there. There's probably some, I don't know, you guys wouldn't see that, but there was some talking between John and Yvonne's regular tech. And John would probably have then gone to work on or look at Geralt's mech. So Geralt, as you come down to the mech bay and look at your mech in position, you see like John looking at it kind of confused, and like there's like 5 or 6 Aztecs moving around. Looks like they're starting to gather armor plate to replace the battle damage.
Oh boy, I need to remember where the lasers are in that mech.
Everywhere?
The large ones.
I think they're in the torso.
Yeah, side torsos. Geralt will probably just start climbing scaffolding and whatnot to get to the large lasers.
And John's like following along behind you, and he's like we got the order to go ahead and start repairing. Sir, what? I'm sorry. I'm Ito. John Ito. Nice to make your acquaintance. I'll be working on your mech.
and as John finishes that, Geralt will just stop halfway through the rungs on the where he's at, turn around. Hi, John. I'm Geralt. I need to check something on my mech. Excuse me for a moment.
We got you. We got your diagnostics plugged in. If you want, he points at a data pad that's like at the chest level. There's a landing. Would be really convenient for like if you're loading ammo into a mech, but your mech doesn't have ammo. But either way, so there's some like finger diameter cables coming out of one of the data ports on the side of your mech, plugged into this data pad.
Geralt will, as he's passing through, passing by this, start fidgeting to make sure the diagnostics is downloading while he's going to physically check on the large lasers.
They look like your normal large lasers. They're, as far as you have been told, correctly aligned. Everything else. John like comes up beside you, and about that time the data pad makes a little like beep sound, and is like downloaded all the diagnostic data from your mech.
Geralt will start thumbing through until he gets to the weaponry and just peering over it and trying to make head and tails out of faulty question mark lasers.
Give me a intelligence plus computers roll.
Nope. I'm re-rolling that.
Definitely not Arnstein.
But I have to take that one.
An 8. All right. Well, that's a success. So you scroll to the weapons tab, and this union is that you guys are on is old, and so is the equipment on it, like real old. So you tap the weapons tab, and it brings up the stats for your mech. I should actually load up your mech. And it's something on it that you haven't seen before because you're used to using somewhat less sophisticated equipment. So it is, let's see, which variant do you have?
BL-6B-KNT.
6B-KNT. So it lists on the weapons tab. So it's like two large LPS or it's LP lasers, and the PPC is listed as ER-PPC. You've never seen, and it gives a manufacturer too. So it'd be the Raker X large pulse, and the Kingslaughter ER-PPC. And John comes up beside you and go, what? LP laser? What the? And he clicks on it, and the stats come up, and it, like, instead of seeing LP laser or Raker X LP laser, it says Kingmaker large pulse laser, and it gives, like, coolant levels and alignments, and it's like, well, I've never seen, what's a pulse laser? That's, and I heard, like, he gets real quiet and goes, look, this is like Lost Tech, man. You have a Lost Tech Black Knight? Well, okay, Black Knight's big enough, but you got a Lost Tech Black Knight? Where did you find this?
Geralt, up until the question of where did you find this, Geralt is just looking at John with a blank face, like trying to process what's being said to him.
Your characters would be familiar with the idea of Lost Tech, at least, especially out here near the edge of the Inner Sphere.
Yeah, he's familiar with Lost Tech, but not the fact that he has it.
Got it. So John is now like has taken the data pad from you and is like scrolling through. He goes, "Wait, you got your structure's different too, dude. This is amazing. You know how much people would pay to watch this on Solaris?"
Solaris, the place where the commander was making fun of everyone for trying believing they were still there.
Yeah, that one. Like half the crew is from there. Like a lot of the techs are from there, and a lot of the pilots followed the commander off, or the major off of Solaris, and I don't know. This thing's worth more than the dropship we're on, probably.
In that case, I'd appreciate not blabbing about it to everyone.
I mean, can I tell my we're gonna have to do some different stuff to repair this thing. Should I? Okay, who should I tell? I mean, I want to tell, and I gotta find a name. Who is I want to tell
Ragnhild Lager.
Yeah, I want to tell Ragnhild. She's the head tech.
So two techs might want to know. Ragnhild is the company-wide head tech, and Kyuko Tatinen is the Thundering Einherjar head tech.
Yeah, so John is like, yeah, I mean, I got to tell Ragnhild at least, because otherwise we're gonna screw something up when we go to adjust your weapons if you ever get some damage on them or something. Get them all out of line, because large pulse. I mean, they fire different than standard lasers. They like shorter, and the focus length is different a little bit. And man, an ERPPC, that's more money than I've seen in my entire life. Just like standing there waiting to get shot at somebody.
Geralt just sigh heavily. Just don't tell anyone yet. I need to speak to your commander again.
Oh, okay.
He Geralt will start scrabbling down the scaffolding, get about halfway through the mech bay or the mech area, freeze, and just think, where am I sleeping?
Ah!
And then just potter off to find Caleb again because he needs to know where he's sleeping anyway.
Okay, so Caleb, you Devon headed out, and you sat down in your chair, and the next thing you know, you hear a knocking on your door, and you're like startled awake from your chair behind your desk.
What? Oh, Jiminy. You better have a good reason. Come in.
I'll enter and say, I'm sorry, Caleb. Two questions, a question and a statement. Where do I sleep?
Oh, yeah. Let me we'll find you something here. And I'm shuffling around papers on my desk looking for my data pad and just basically not making any progress. I'll get it.
You pull up your data
why don't you
pad.
take a seat? It's going to take a minute.
You pull up your data pad, and there is a message waiting for you, like on the lock screen. You can see it's a message from Arnstein.
Oh. All right.
I'll go ahead and have you read that out in Arnstein's voice, please, Zerder.
Dear friends, If you receive this, I am no longer with you. If we are still on New Bergen, I ask that the Valk gets handed over to the rebels after the planet has been liberated. Feel free to use her during the liberation, however. Her codes are appended to this message. With regards, Arnstein.
Huh. Well, he really did love that mech. Yeah, we'll find some way to make good use of it.
And then you
Man,
realize
I'm gonna
that
miss him.
Geralt is still in the room with you. You're really tired.
Oh, sorry, Geralt. I just don't have anything left. Let me try again. So I'm gonna make sure to save his message and then bring up operations and find him a unoccupied room to bunk down in.
Yep. So there are several rooms. There are open bunks in the rooms that the dropship crew sleep in, and the dropship are part of the MBFA. So that seems like probably the most likely comfortable place.
All right, you can go up one deck. It's halfway around, and it's room 13. It's the best one I can get for you right now. So you can bunk out for there. We might get you something more permanent if we're here for more than a day or so. But you can go there for now.
Yeah, no, thanks. And Geralt will look at Caleb and the tiredness in his eyes and just say, I think we'll wait with the second thing until we've had some sleep both. Have a good night.
Yeah, thanks. We'll catch up after. Bye.
So the best part of a dropship is there are no windows because it is noon on, well, it's daylight, but there's no sunlight in here to disturb you guys' sleep. Caleb, you pull out your bed, manage to make it, and you're asleep as your head hits the pillow. Just beat. And you hear your the communication console in this room starts binging the diddly-doo-doo, diddly-doo-doo, diddly-doo-doo-doo, diddly-doo-doo, diddly-doo-doo, diddly-doo-doo-doo.
What does it take to get some rack time? So I'm gonna sit up and I'll reach over and open it up and say, "You better have a good reason."
And it is 6 hours later than it was when you laid down. About 6 p.m. we're gonna call it, or thereabouts. And you get on the line and you recognize Gunnar's voice. He goes, Major, sorry, Christian Hermanson, he's the governor, and Lars Hermanson, he's the military commander. They want to talk with you and anybody in your command staff you see fit. They're not here in town. They're going to call, or they are. Well, I have them on hold, but they want to get in talk with you as soon as we can. The mech pilots did say that there's been some scout hovercraft coming by from the Draconis forces, but apparently a AC-20 round takes care of a scout hovercraft real fast. Idris told me about it, but I figured he thought that you might not care until you woke up about it, so I just kind of let you know. Anyway, so anytime you're ready, I'll keep them on hold for you.
Tell you what, why don't I'm gonna need some coffee to actually have a chance of waking up. Can you tell him just call back in a half hour and we'll find somewhere to talk with him.
Yes, sir. I'll let them know. They seem well. The governor's hot about something, but he wouldn't tell me what it is. And all right, yeah. He hangs up.
I'll hang up as well. Then I'll ring around and assemble people to talk with them. So
Geralt, about the same time that Caleb is hanging up, you get in your data pad, you get the same, diddly doo doo diddly doo doo diddly doo doo doo.
Half blurry eyed because he's a bit more rested than the rest of the guys, but still waking up. He will just swipe to answer in in half sleep and just yeah.
So you recognize the voice of Overst Vanya, coming over the line. Says, "Geralt, get up. There's meeting in." She checks her watch. You may not be able to see that. Anyway, she pauses for a second. She's about a half an hour. I want you there I want you there in the mercenaries room. The governor and general are going to be talking to these to the mercs, so I want you in the room there with them, so because it's a whole lot easier to read body language and stuff there than it is over the telecom.
Yeah, I'll get there. By the way, I think you might owe them some money or armor plating or some such.
Why?
The knight got scuffed and they fixed it.
Your job isn't to get shot. Your job is to watch them to make sure they're shooting the right people.
Well, when tanks drive around corners right in front of you, you tend to get scuffed armor.
She kind of sounds like she's like gonna take it. She takes a breath and pauses and then goes, good job, Geralt. Or is it Geralt or Geralt? Sorry.
Geralt.
Good job, Geralt. Yeah, we'll add some whatever repairs to their payout at the contract. That shouldn't be a problem. Should be a problem. I'll make sure to let General know that, or General Hermanson. I know how military ranks work. Knows, so he can add it to their payout.
Sure. And he stretches and conveniently smacks the hang up button.
All right. So Caleb, who are you calling to this meeting?
yeah, so I want to step out of character for a minute and just
Yep.
kind of do a sideboard with the whole group. How do we want to run this? Because it makes sense definitely to pull in Devin and probably Morena, since she's been part of the group. I'm trying to figure out how do we get Yvonne and Denver and in there as well.
Suggestion maybe just do hey, who's up, and Yvonne and Denver and Devin are.
Okay, yeah, I like that. That works. So I'll ring Devin and say, well, I'll ring Devin.
So if you ring my room, you don't get a hold of me there. If we
All
have
right.
we'd have to do a page, because right now my character is in the rec room. He's still frustrated and he's taking it out. He's got his flight suit tied down around his waist and he's working a punching bag like a demon.
There are a couple of
right.
Aztecs watching this going on, and John is like, "Hey, you two, you need to haul that armor over."
All right, I will. I'll page Devin and find out that he's in the rec room and call down there.
I answer the comms. Yes, sir.
Hey, Devin, we we need to talk to some uppities in the resistance. Are you available?
On my way. Where do I need to meet you?
We're in room conference room 3. Is there anybody else down there that might so it isn't just you and me?
I can look around. I'm sounding out of breath while I'm talking to him. I'll look around. Saw a couple of Aztecs here. I'll see who I can find lurking around. Who you want? You want somebody individual? You want somebody specific?
Grab a couple of mech warriors. I don't think Aztecs need to sit on this, but we should have a couple more pilots.
All right. I'll see who I can find down around here.
All right. Thanks. See you soon.
I turn around, and as I turn around, I happen to see Yvonne standing there. I walk over to her. I start putting my flight suit back up, tying around. Yvonne, I think the major wants us to sit on a meeting. All right.
Roger that. Be there.
Oh, by the way, when I reach in my pocket, I pull out some C-bills, 10 C-bills worth, and I hand it over to her.
What's this for, sir?
You had a bet with Jaeger, right?
Yes, sir.
I stupidly bet against you. Don't tell the major. Congrats. And I walk away.
Thank you, sir. I'll see you in the meeting, sir.
I'll do that.
Geralt will get up from his bunk, find the awful coffee, grab the biggest cup he can find, and will make his way down to the conference room, just slump down in a chair, sipping the, by comparison, almost undrinkable coffee.
Caleb will meander his way in, see that Geralt's got the coffee. He says, hey, it isn't too bad, is it?
Every sip, you see the face contorting. No, this is bad, but it's coffee.
Well, it's something anyway.
I walk into the room. I just start pulling in.
Denver was there with in the coffee room as well, enjoying the fine brew, and is also making his way to the meeting.
All right, about almost to the minute, a half an hour after your phone call ended with Gunnar, the Gunnar's face appears on the conference room telescreen, and he goes, "Oh, hey, good to see you guys here. Give me a couple seconds to patch in and he punches some buttons, and two people will appear on the screen. You recognize them by sight, Geralt. Caleb and Devon, you probably have seen pictures of these two from previous what have you. Hey, this is your employer sort of information. Briefings, yes.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
I don't know that Denver or Yvonne, I might recognize them or not. It's up to you, I guess, at some point. The older gentleman, he's in his probably 60s. He's kind of he's got a bigger frame. He's not fat, but he's kind of that large like Norwegian beardy stock. He looks at the screen. He can tell you he's kind of looking at the different faces around the room. The video feed is decent, but there's every once in a while just a little bit of static that goes across the video feed. And he says, hello, gentlemen and lady, or lady and gentlemen. My name is Christian Hermansen, and he points to kind of puts his hand on the person who's sitting next to him's shoulder. And he says, and this is General Lars Hermansen, and you all can see the very strong family resemblance between the two of them. Lars, so Christian has darker hair with streaks of silver in it, and Lars has pretty much his same face, but a very much lighter complexion and hair color. And he says, good to speak with you.
What can we do you for, gentlemen?
Well, wondering why you've been sitting in a park for half a day now, not kicking the Drax off this planet. And that was Christian speaking, and then Lars kind of gives him a little bit of a look.
Geralt
Are you
will
serious?
pipe up in the background. Soldiers need sleep, sir.
There's kind of a grumbling from him, and then Lars goes, "Yes, of course. Sorry, the governor isn't as familiar with military matters as I am. So how is the assault in, or how is the Rodal doing? How is it going in Rodal?
Well, we're here. We couldn't say that a few days ago, so I'd say that's going well. If it wasn't going well, we wouldn't be here.
Yes. Do you have any scouts on the Draconis positions in town? We're getting some reports from our local forces, but I wanted to get from you what you were seeing. This is Lars talking.
I don't want to discuss that on this channel. If you want that sort of detail, you can come talk to me in person, but I don't think so.
He nods. That's fair. Overst Lund is in town. I can see if she can go closer. Yes, operational security and all. That's good. But all right. Well, wanted to check in with you. We will be in Rodal soon, but we're not there yet. If you want to have the Draconis cleared out of town before, and he goes the end of March, we will be able to have that in-person talk. The sooner the better.
Looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to it. It'll be nice to actually meet our employers. We'll let you know when it's safe.
Christian is like staring at his son, like scowl on his face, and you get the impression that there's going to be some yelling, and then he turns back to you and goes, "Yes, I suppose end of March. Get your people and your mechs ready, and once we've taken the town, then we can discuss next courses of action. I feel like we need to have a little more tight interplay between my forces and yours. That we missed some very important things at the government center when it was burned to the ground. So very important that we prioritize the correct targets in the future, and I'll be able to do that a little more when we're in town. He kind of talks, and you can see the son like quelling glance at his father. It's like just let Overst Lund know when you're ready for us to be there, and we'll get that arranged. It's good to talk to you directly. We haven't had a chance before now. It's good to see the faces of the people who are helping out our glorious freedom away from the Draconis overlords.
Point of order, GM. Can I do perception or something like with my diplomat or administration skill to see? Yeah, he's acting awful pensive. Can I pick up on that at all?
So not administer. Diplomat would be good. So diplomat is. I'm gonna pop you out. Why don't you get me a?
I'm trying to read him because he sounds like he's wanting to rip us, but he's coming like real close to the border, but then backing off. But I don't know if I'm reading that right. Is there a way? I was just checking to see if diplomat would allow me to.
Yeah, absolutely.
Zero in on this.
Notice plus charisma.
Notice plus charisma, or actually notice plus charisma, or talk plus charisma, whichever one's better for you.
I got +1 on talk. Charisma's 12, but I get no bonuses. Let's just, I guess, go with talk.
Okay.
You said talk plus charisma?
Yes.
Is that Devin only, or can I also make that roll?
Anybody can make that roll. Go ahead. Actually, Caleb, could I get you a lead plus charisma, please?
Sure.
But anybody else would be probably, if you don't have the diplomat, would be notice plus charisma.
Do I have to put anything in for the modifier? It's been a while since I did this. Or did I just hit submit?
Nope, should just hit submit.
You said
What?
was talk plus charisma as well?
If you have diplomat.
If I have diplomat. Oh.
Otherwise, notice.
I'm panting too hard for my workout, so completely oblivious, sweat down my eyes, and like whatever.
Geralt, I would have you do a notice plus charisma as well, please.
Does he have the state of the command, the governor and the general? He's just rolling his eyes in the background.
Yeah, this is more for seeing the state of everybody else in the room. An 8. Ooh, that's pretty good. Caleb almost hit the next tier. Geralt's relatively oblivious. Well, 10 is the next tier. Never mind, Caleb did hit the next tier. So,
Considering reroll.
this would be a new scene.
Yeah, I'll reroll that.
Nine. Okay. Yvonne, you want to get in on this too, or you're just in the room? 5. Okay. Denver, did you roll? Yes, you did.
I did roll.
8. Devin with a 5. All right, so Devin's not picking up on much. Neither is Yvonne. Geralt, you can see the frustration in both the general and governor's faces. You're not 100% sure what that's all about, and looking around the room, everybody in this room looks tired. More than anything, you're getting the impression that these people most of them have been walking for days, and fighting like desperate battles, and everybody's just still exhausted, even with the 6 hours of sleep. So with
Geralt.
Well, with the 9 actually. So with the 9, you can get a little bit more. I'm thinking you're getting. What else would you be getting? Give me a little bit, just kind of the what is Caleb's body language saying right now, Hedge, that you can get, that Geralt will be getting from you?
Disgust at the governor would probably be the top.
Sure. All right. Denver, you are getting the impression that there is a long-standing conflict between NPCs, Christian and Lars about something. Like the way they were going back and forth at each other. There's something they're not telling you that they have fought about. You're not sure what it was, but it's just that back and forth, like fathers frustrated at their children because not listening to them because they're adults, and children not getting through to their fathers what I'm trying to tell you this, you don't believe me, sort of thing, at the very least. With your leadership, Caleb, with a 10, first things first, your folks are tired. Like, you guys need a day if you can get it. You're not sure that the Draconis are going to let you have it, because they would be a little bit remiss to not test you guys out or just leave. You're not sure what's going on. But you wish you could give everybody 24 hours at least more of downtime. But everybody is rested a little bit, so if you need to, you could unload and go to battle without too much problems. You also get the impression of the Lars and Christian that there's this fight there that they're not telling everybody, and the impression you're getting, actually, let me pull you into the sideboard because you got quite a bit better. So the way that Christian and Lars were talking, you can see that Christian has never been in a military. He's a civilian, and that you are under the impression that maybe either you guys were oversold to him, or he was expecting more from you, just from like, oh, you outgunned them by this much. Why, like, more like what Gunnar was saying. Perhaps even to think that maybe Gunnar's plan of dropping, 4 mechs on every major city, or how it was 8 mechs on every major city, and just winning in one fell swoop, maybe that was Christian's plan. And
Yep, makes sense.
And Lars is, you're getting the impression he has probably been in the military longer than you have, and understands that you can't ride people that hard because they just won't survive it. They'll start making big mistakes. And yeah, that's what you
Okay.
get.
Sure.
All right. So a couple more pleasantries, a little further conversation, and then the comm cuts out, and Gunnar is back up on the screen. Kind of a surprised look on his face, and he's like, okay. I think they're done now. I don't think that was interference.
Thanks, Gunnar. Have you, since I got you on the line, you had any contact with our local people, or Geralt, maybe you've had chance to hear any news?
Overst has, we've been talking back and forth. She I was talking about, like protecting the dropship since we're here at the park. She didn't think she could keep mechs off of it, but she thinks she'd give us at least a half an hour warning if there were mechs coming at you. They're holding the they're holding the hyperpulse generator and the remains of the capital. There's not much left of the capital though. The Drax.
Well,
Oh yeah, go ahead.
Push come to shove, I know which one of those two is more important. So no other threatening activity yet. Anyway, we've still got them stunned a little bit.
There's a lot of something going on at the castle, but they've pushed out their ground troops a couple kilometers on every side, as far as we could tell, and we can't get anybody closer. They started going door to door and like clearing out houses, so we're not sure they're kicking people out of that, or out of the drop port and castle area.
Any news on the Victor and the Grasshopper?
So they managed to get him onto transports, and the Grasshopper will be here in about 2 hours, and the Victor, they had to call for some extra help because it's heavier. But it should be here in about 2.5.
All right. Thanks for the update, Gunnar.
He nods and cuts the line.
All right, people. How are you doing? How are you holding up?
We're here and ready to go, sir.
Appreciate it. Anybody else? You get enough rack time to at least keep your eyes open?
Bright-eyed and bushy-tailed here.
All right, so I really don't care what that governor says. As long as he pays the bill, we'll go with it. Well, as long as he pays the bill and doesn't get us killed anyway. What I'm thinking we need to plan to be moving out once we get the Victor and the Grasshopper recovered. Let's plan to have a strategy session about an hour from now, and I'm assuming we'll be heading out in about 2 to 3 hours. So go get a little bit more rack time if you need it. Blow off some steam if you need it, and we'll reconvene here after a little bit.
I snap to attention, salute him, turn around to the guys. You heard him. Let's go.
Geralt will hang back and just, as people are filing out, just clear his throat and go, Commander, there was another thing I need to speak with you about.
Oh yeah, Geralt. I totally. I don't think I was really with it when you were in my office. I completely forgot. What was it you need to talk about?
Could you meet me down by the night in, like, now?
Sure. I hope we got things sorted out for you. We'll head down there now.
As we're walking out, I grab Yvonne's arm as soon as we get out of earshot from the major, and I said, "That's twice I've paid you. There won't be a third. All right, Yvonne?"
Affirmative.
Yvonne, the major's a good man.
Yes, he is.
Keep the bets off the battlefield. That's all he's asking. He's not asking you to be anything else. All right?
Duly noted.
All right. Good luck, pilot. I walk back to my punching bag and keep working it.
All right, so Caleb and Geralt, you guys get down to the night because it's more fun that way. The punching bag is on the same deck as the knight is currently loaded onto it. So you guys see Devin working out some frustrations on the punching bag. Denver and Yvonne, you guys can be nearby or wherever you want to be. But yeah, you get to the base of the night. So
They're all not waiting for Caleb. He just starts climbing the scaffolding.
6 hours should be enough to get any armor repair done, I believe.
The knight needed 2.5 or 2 and a bit hours to fix.
Yeah, so as far as the mechs go, we've got times on the repair sheet, and I think what do we have? The grasshopper, of course, we haven't started on. The awesome needs more than a day, so an 8-hour shift plus a little bit. So the awesome is still out of commission.
Wolverine will be done.
Give me.
Wolverine's done.
Okay, so anybody who anything that is just straight armor repair that is less than 6 hours, just complete it off the sheet. Deduct your pay, deduct whatever cost or however you guys are tracking that.
We'll probably take it sometime after the.
Hedge, I think my Marauder's good. I mean, I didn't shut down, didn't cause any damage. I think it's good to go.
Yeah, your Marauder is. I don't know if you even have
Fairly
any.
pristine, I think, still.
Yeah.
Yeah, you had 6 points of armor plating that you were missing.
The fire starter. How long is that going to take to repair?
Near a day and a half. It says 1.4 days. So
Okay, so that's 8 hours, probably 10 out, 12. Call it 12 hours to repair. So you've had 6.
Does
That's
my Marauder need downtime for those 6 points, or would we just go as is?
it was fixed before you hit the rack.
yeah.
Okay, cool.
So they are currently in the process of rebuilding the arm of the, probably no armor on it yet, but like they've got the structure fabbed up and they are like starting to attach myomer bundles to the arm of the fire starter. No weapons mounted or anything like that yet in it. The go ahead and could I have somebody give me who is the tech on the awesome? Is it a named tech?
The tech on the awesome.
Oh, it's
is-
Ueno.
Oh, it's Ran.
Okay. She probably got extra help from like techs for like Devin's mech who didn't really need much. So I'm gonna give it at a +2 to help get armor loaded faster onto Morena's mech. So could I get 2d6 +2 for a repair roll on the awesome, please? Whoever wants to roll it.
I can roll if you want, or Caleb.
Go for it.
I'll give you guys one free reroll in amongst all of these rolls for mechs. So it'll be the awesome
2d6 +2, you said?
Yeah, 2d6 +2. The awesome, the fire starter. Does anybody else's mech actually need help?
Yeah, I think so. Let me double check.
11?
Okay.
Oh, the only other one, it would have been one of the Phoenix Hawks, and it should be repaired at this point.
Okay, so that's been days ago. So that's they're not even here. So 11 is good enough to shorten that time. So the awesome's got like probably 15 minutes of work left onto it. They've got all the damaged armor plate removed. They've got most of it put back in place. But Ran and her team are just like getting the last pieces of armor staged to install onto the mech. So like 15 minutes to half an hour, and the awesome will be fully repaired. All right, so on the fire starter, so John would have been fixing the grasshopper.
The night for
Right.
a bit hour.
He took over the night, and so the fire starter's tech would have been unnamed, I think.
Yeah.
All right, yes, fire starter's tech is unnamed. I will give them a name right now.
Yeah, I'm also.
I like that.
Victor.
Liz Sorensen. So I will put that into show shift V. there we go. That is the tech for the fire starter, and they probably have help as well. Let's feminine. Yep. So feminine type person. Thank you. So they're working on the fire starter, and probably are getting as much help for techs who aren't busy. So I'll go ahead and give that a +2 as well. So 2d6 + 2. You have 1 reroll if this goes badly. I guess you could choose it for the awesome 2, but that worked out okay.
Suda, you got this one?
So 13. Okay. So despite what it looks like with they almost have the Myomer attached, you think if you guys launch in 2 hours, the fire starter will be ready to go, but just barely. And nobody's bothering with paint on any of these repairs. Like, you think that the fire starter is going to get done if you guys launch in 2 hours right about then, but that's partly because by then all the other mechs will have been repaired and, you know, tuned up and oiled and greased and whatever else. And so it's going to be just everybody, all hands on deck, but they're going to be able to get that arm up and running before 2 hours from now. That's almost as good as you could have gotten. All right, so yes, you, Caleb, and everybody sees that is the case as you're pulling up, or as you're walking up to the Black Knight, which looks in, other than the fact that it's missing a bunch of paint, looks to be in pristine condition.
So, what did you find out about the knight? Is it something fixable?
Geralt's climbing the scaffolding on his way up to the debug PC and waving Caleb along.
Okay, I guess I'm headed up.
Caleb,
So I'll join him on the platform.
Yeah, you join him on the platform. You know well and good that this system would be mirrored exactly at the foot of the mech and at the head of the mech. So why he came up to this one, you're not sure.
So why here? Girl, what's up?
He's started pulling open the maintenance hatches for the lasers, whilst started with the diagnostic PC and pulling up the schematics and pulling up the maintenance hatches at the same time, pointing in, showing what looks like perfectly workable large laser compartment, like he has on his own neck.
Well, did they polish it? What in the? It doesn't look like we even did anything to it. I mean, it looks. I don't think I've seen one this shiny. What's going on?
And Geralt's just waiting for the ping of the console before turning off.
Beep-doop.
Look at that. Look at this. And he flips over to the armaments and just steps back.
You know mechs. Give me a fix plus intelligence. And just don't do exactly that. Okay.
It's this Caleb we're talking about here.
So you got below a 4. Okay. So you look at it and it says, you know, you're in your
Large
mind,
laser, PPC.
right. So you ignore the manufacturer because you don't care, and the, you know, whatever else is like large laser, PPC. They look like they're green on the thing, so they look like they're like in good repair.
So I'll hand the pad back to him. Says, so looks like we figured out whatever it was. Uh, what did you want to show me?
He just Geralt will look at Caleb with incredulity. Finger under the designation ER, and then under the designation LP.
So with a little bit more pointing out, that's not normal. Like that even that gets through to Caleb.
What? Oh, what? No. What in the ER? You're talking? Oh, oh. How did you get? How did you get this? Where did you get
found
this?
it in a
You found
bunker.
it? Who have you told?
This John guy that was fixing it wanted to tell some others, but I got him to not tell anyone just yet, and maybe the NBFA guys. But I didn't even know that they were this special.
So the NBFA wouldn't have had the correct computer to know that this was different than normal.
All right. Well, I can see you got a head on your shoulders. Didn't start crowing this about. We'll have to. Man, was there anything else there? Was this all just standing in a corner all by its lonesome?
There was a couple piles of slag or just junk that I saw, but I didn't quite have time to get through all the securities.
So I'm gonna give you some backstory and same for everybody that you can tell or not. But so you found this cave system. You're whatever. You like hanging out in the woods. You found this cave system. You had been being chased by a Draconis patrol. So you found basically a place to hide. And this was before the air cover had left the planet. So you were basically hiding in this cave from spotter planes, aerospace fighters, and stuff. And yeah, you found in this cave, you found a computer system hooked up to a door. Took a battery basically out of your pack, powered it on. We're able to to get in through the system. I think you have some like hacking ability, right?
Yep.
Okay, you're able to basically hack through it, open up this door, and get further into this cave system. And this mech was sat basically facing the door in a position that was like a scramble position, I guess you'd call it, where somebody could just hop in on it and get it powered up and go. Like 2 inches of dust on top of every surface on this thing. It had been sitting for who knows how long. But you're able to power it on, get it going. It sounded like death, machine death, as you like waited the 12 hours for the patrols to give up on you, and then you just walked it out of the cave into the jungle. Gonna find you. This would be not the jungles around Rodal, but jungles closer to Vaxdal, to the north and east. Well, more actually north and west, kind of near that mountain system. So that's what you know. You didn't have time to like fully find if there was more cave or anything else there, or if this was just a single unit. As far as you know, you and Commander Lund and some other like senior staff are the only people who know where you found this thing. But that's what you know. So I should probably bring you guys.
And I relay most of that story to Caleb.
Draw shape. What would be good? There, that's a good.
All
color.
right. Well, let's. I think we definitely don't want to paint a target on it. We're probably going to have to go there at some point, just so that we'll be able to hopefully find replacement parts. Because I mean, we won't be able to keep it the way you found it. Man, I'm just amazed. That definitely changes things a bit. You know, you're more than welcome to keep joining us on patrols and whatnot. I mean, you've been a help with coordinating and man, having some lost tech on our side is definitely going to be a thing. I think we are going to have to. You say John Ito knows about this?
Yeah, and he was talking about someone called Ragnhild that might need to know. Which is
Yeah, she's our head tech for Company One, and we're probably she's not here right now, but Kyuko, the overall tech for the entire company is probably going to need to know too, and we're going to have to be careful who we let get too close a look at this, because we don't need rumors spreading. That's if something like that starts to spread, you're not going to be able to get away, at least not and keep a hold of that mech. So we'll do our best to keep it quiet, but I am going to want to tell our tech so we don't bung something up with it.
yeah, which is fine. I just didn't want John to blab his mouth before he could talk to you.
Yeah, John's good. He'll I'll pull him aside and let him know that we're keeping this quiet, and he'll be good.
So one of the things that you all would be familiar with in universe about Lost Tech. So Lost Tech is incredibly powerful, like almost mythical, like magical weapon level of technology, which is becoming a little less true since the Helm Memory Core was released a few months, almost a year ago at this point. That got out, and people have started talking about Lost Tech a little less reverently. But one of the things you guys are aware of, Lost Tech is supposed to be this mythical thing that is both very powerful and very dangerous. There's always this story about how, this person, this mech warrior, this whatever, found a piece of Lost Tech, and they were using it to like be real good in battle and whatever they were doing. And they were in battle, and all of a sudden, all of the ammo in their ammo bins blew up. And so like it was some sort of piece of like Lost Tech LRM launcher, and they put it on their mech, and they were using it in battle, and they had several battles where they like were really effective, and then all of a sudden their mech just lit itself on fire and blew up. So there's always this undertone of it's really powerful, but it'll kill you. Possibly, Maddie. Think less. I would go with less. You believe it's Comstar propaganda because your character wouldn't know that. I mean, that's literally what it is. Your character wouldn't know that, but you could absolutely believe that it was, like somebody wanted to steal the technology and screwed it up, or kept it for the blew them up and kept it for themselves. It's somebody's propaganda. Comstar,
Yeah,
not necessarily, but yeah, absolutely.
because Javon doesn't believe anything that comes out of any Comsuck's mouth.
But yeah, so there's definitely this feeling of Lost Tech is really powerful and important, and if you let too many people know about it, somebody's either going to try to steal it or it's going to blow up in mysterious circumstances.
Would Devin's history, being with my father, nobleman inside House Merrick, what I've heard rumors of lost tech sometimes being associated with Star League caches from time to time. Not every time, but once in a while.
Yeah,
And my
so
father told me rumors to that effect, or what I've overheard them in the diplomatic circles that I've been around in.
absolutely. And again, things a little bit of myth and legends. Like, I mean, you guys just heard about the Gray Death finding the Helm memory core on Helm, and the fact that there was an old Star League, they call it Castle Bryan, on that planet, and if they hadn't been fighting their, let's see, I think it was Merrick opponents, who were basically driving them off-world, and the Grey Death hadn't triggered the Castle Bryan meltdown protocol before they left, then there were, like, battalions of lost tech mechs supposedly on Helm. But the Grey Death Legion managed to get off of Helm with their copy of the Helm memory core, and they have taken it to, I don't remember what planet they ended up on personally. I think they may have headed back to Galatea. But they headed back to Galatea. They were with Duke Hasid Rickhole of the Draconis Combine, and he has taken a copy back with him. And along the way, several more copies got distributed to every major house has at least one copy, or had by midsummer at least one copy of the Helm memory core. Even House Merrick, who supposedly the Grey Death hated for what they did to him on Helm, basically, I think it was, yeah. I'm trying to remember actual lore from the things, but yes. So pretty much all the major Intersphere houses have a copy of the Helm memory core, and you know that the Helm memory core talks about things like ERPPCs and pulse lasers and like lost tech, everything.
Now, are we all seeing this right now? I mean, is it being revealed to us all? I mean,
to my
how does
knowledge,
this information get...
to my knowledge, right now only Caleb and Geralt were there for the.
Okay.
Who Caleb tells is up to him.
Right.
Yeah, Geralt just looks at Cable. This is why I needed you awake and not half asleep.
Yeah, I'm definitely awake now. Let's we'll keep this quiet for now. I mean, if we get somebody who knows what they're looking at, we can't hide it when you fire those. But I'll just tell people that, yep, we got the best text, we got it fixed, it's all good.
Could I have Caleb and Geralt make an wisdom? Sorry, brain. What would be good? Wisdom plus survive roll, please. Okay, that's what I need to know. Okay.
Worries me when I roll low on those and the GM says, okay.
That's extra fun. All right, so
Technically, I have a reroll, but I'm gonna let one lie.
I think you already used your reroll. I'm gonna say it's been close enough.
It was,
Or what did
was
you?
in the briefing.
Yeah, I'm gonna say we're still kind of in the same. It's not technically the same scene, but it's a little too close together. If I let you reroll again, we will go ahead and switch scenes now. Though we're gonna move on to it is planning time. All of the repairs are. It's 2 hours later. All the repairs and all the mechs are done. So for purposes of space, Caleb, you have cleared out the upper mech bay of like techs and Aztecs and so on and so forth. So only people here are mech warriors, Geralt, Gunnar, and Overst Vanya Lund, who you guys met early this morning. So Overst Lund is here. So is Gunnar. Yeah, and you guys are there, and Overst Vanya says to you all, says, you are planning on attacking the castle, yes?
Well, that's what we're here to decide. I like to be a little bit democratic, considering I'm asking these people to put their lives on the line. So that makes sense to me. But let's see what ideas we come up with.
Geralt, could you bring over? And she points at like a large piece of like plex, and kind of points out a couple of sawhorses or similar. Could you bring those over? We need a table.
How many people are we talking here right now? All of the mech warriors? So that's what, 10, 11?
Yeah, so there's a full like company of troops outside, so you could have, including the 4 guys who've been out in patrol for, they probably got about 6 hours in, they probably got, friendly forces came and relieved them and let them get back on the mech, reload any shots they'd fired, because they'd shot at some scout hovercraft and similar.
Okay, so the Hammerlance would be there with us. So
yeah,
we had how many would that be? So we're talking 15 people, 15 mech warriors, say.
Plus me, and Gunnar and Vanya.
So it'd be 10 mech warriors from the original minus Arnstein plus Geralt, so we're back up to 10 plus 4 for Hammerlance. Plus Yvonne, 5, so 15. Yep. So yeah, too many for the conference room.
Yep. No, what I was thinking is I'm just gonna sort of announce the group. Let's break up by Lance and do some brainstorming, and we'll rejoin as a group here in say 10 minutes or so.
Okay. So as Geralt and Gunnar get the like makeshift table set up, Vanya starts laying out a set of printouts. Looked like they were satellite's not the right word. Overhead pictures taken, and Gunnar goes, yeah. As we were coming in, I had some people take some pictures of the like spaceport just to see what was down there. And so print off of current conditions as of 8 hours ago. And I think I moved you guys to the right page. Yes. This is what you see. Okay. So we can go ahead and start. So the castle is and Vanya's kind of whoever's at the main tables. Vanya starts pointing out. It's like the castle is this hexagonal structure in kind of the top left corner of this map. They're actually like the big building is mech bays and vehicle bays and similar. There are turrets located at the corners of the wall defensive structure. There are also, we suspect from current scouting reports, there might be minefields around some of the sides of this building or of the castle. Unsure, but probably anti-vehicle mines, possibly anti-personnel mines. We're unsure. It's hard to get people close to the castle. outside of the castle buildings themselves, there is a hospital with this the thing you see with a helipad on the top of it is the main hospital for Radal. That is often where like troops, if they get injured, would go to. That place is very heavily defended. Anybody important with the Draconis gets sick, that's where they go. That building is 100% controlled by Draconis forces. The buildings to the north, south, west, east of the hospital are these buildings here are like I guess apartment buildings or similar, basically off-base housing. Yeah, exactly. Off-base housing for the like troops and mech warriors and so on and so forth. Their families and similar. Again, those are very well defended, although they're outside of the castle walls. The troops, as far as we're able to tell, we've been able to sneak in over the past like 3 hours, able to sneak in a few soldiers on the ground. They've been reporting back. Pretty much everybody has been cleared out of this. Oh, and we actually have, the grid coordinates are actually literal grid coordinates on the map. So as far as we can tell, everybody in 11 grid coordinate 1108 through 4340 oh sorry 4311 and then south to say 4332, kind of in that area. All those are Draconis controlled structures, and they have all been, anybody who's there have been moved into the castle. To the southeast of that are the drop bays. So drop bay 1, 2, and 4 currently are occupied by the Leopard dropship, Draconis Leopard dropship. Drop bay 3 is not controlled. The large building in the middle of this is the, I guess, airport? It's not the right term.
Spaceport?
Well, yeah, spaceport, but it's the terminal. That's the right term. So it's where if you were to like be loading on to a dropship to go off planet, you would go into this building here, and then go from there to the actual dropships. The tower is this building here. It is pretty well reinforced. Well, same with the terminal building. Pretty well reinforced. As far as we can tell, Draconis forces are still occupying those buildings as well. And they are the remaining, less the dropships. There is a satellite, or if they want to talk off planet, to say if a jump ship were to arrive, they could do it from the castle, or from the terminal building, or from the control tower, which is this building right here. To the east of the drop port is aerospace and atmospheric plane airport. So the drop port is this big structure here, and the airport is this one over here. The building to the north of here, they have, as far as I know, it's only civilian aircraft on hand right now. There aren't any military aircraft on planet. So all of the civilian structure, all of the buildings in the airport are currently civilian structures. They do have another satellite space communication dish in that part, along with This building here is the terminal for the atmospheric thing. Currently, there have been no planes into or out of Rodal since you guys arrived in town. All commercial flights arriving to Rodal have been redirected to other cities, either on this continent or elsewhere, or they've been redirected to other cities. There have been 3 or 4 commercial flights who have left plane. I think the commercial airliners are trying to get their planes out of Rodal while they can, although the Draconis forces have commandeered several big jets. We're not sure what for. 3 or 4 big jets. Other than that, as far as we know, there haven't been any mines placed anywhere other than perhaps around the castle. There are defensive turrets aimed into the drop port and onto the airfield. I think the planners expected, if somebody's going to assault the city with the drop ship, they'd probably land, at the drop port, not in a park. Or possibly if they ever needed to commandeer somebody's drop ship who had landed here, they wanted it under guns, in case they need to do that. So that's a high overview. What do you guys got for questions?
So, clarification, you said dropships plural. There's 3 leopards grounded?
There are 3 leopards grounded in 2 and 3. They haven't been able to get troops very close to the leopards. All they can see is somebody get on a tall building with a pair of good binoculars, and they can see that they're still on the ground there.
As far as communications, there's multiple points here where they could communicate off planet, but not not out of system.
Correct. No, the only hyperpulse generator on planet is the facility that you guys captured this morning.
Anybody else have questions?
No, here.
As far as forces, well, they got a lot of tanks, and at least 1 full company of mechs.
That'd be the 2 that we didn't dispatch from the scouting mission, plus the 10 that were left, if I recall. Oh, that's a good question. What of the mechs that were downed? Did the NBF forces retrieve what was it, an Archer and Warhammer, I think?
Archer evaporated. Dragon evaporated. The Warhammer and a medium Vulcan.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was a Vulcan that got legged hard enough that it couldn't get up.
Yeah. So the NBFE or NBFA. I don't know why I did that wrong. NBFA forces did manage to capture the Warhammer and the Vulcan, and any other mechs that were salvageable. I don't remember. They managed to capture them, and they have hauled them. Are working on trying to haul them out of the city.
All right. I guess I'd like to switch into planning an assault, but I don't know if that's. Does anybody else have anything else before we go that direction?
Geralt would query about the guys that were sent in to the area their qualifications using clandestine equipment?
Is that a focus? What's the...
No, it's just asking Vanya
Oh,
if guys were of his persuasion or if they're just regular guys with binoculars.
they were volunteers, and they've sent in about 20 guys, and they've heard back from about 10 of them. And several of the ones they heard back from they heard back after they tried to get in, got spotted, and fled. So there's like 3 guys that one of them is, well, she doesn't point out where. One of them is able to see the castle from a building. He's on top of a building and can see, and basically has a sight line to the castle. Can't see very well because there are people watching out for exactly that. Another person is in the woods. Well, again, she's not gonna point it out. Another person can see the drop port. Okay, and then there's one more person who's been watching. Like, there are patrols going through and going house by house in parts of this, and either sending people fleeing because like the north center part of this is like residential people who work, civilians who work at the drop port sort of housing. Like nice, really nice part of town here. There are troops going door to door and sending them away, clearing houses. And this is how, like, you know, a person might hole up in a house and start watching, and then the reason they're no longer hearing from them is because the house got tossed and person got captured or shot.
All right, so Caleb says, "Here's what I'm thinking. We've got a couple of possible ways we could approach this, but we could directly assault the castle. I'm not sure if that's the way to go. Another possibility I see is we try and remove their ability to communicate. That's going to be tough, and this is not the only city on the planet. The other one is we reduce their mobility. So I'm thinking that those 3 drop ships that are just sitting out there, we know they don't have a lot of transport capability, and we sure could use some more. So if there's any way we can disable, or better yet, appropriate those drop ships, that could give us a big advantage.
Vanya looks at you and goes, as far as I am aware, those 3 drop ships represent all of the heavy lift capacity on planet. So if you want more than one mech moved more than a few hundred kilometers, those drop ships are it for them.
Major?
Yes, Captain.
The dropships might be the play here. Communication is going to be hard for them because of our agreement that we've arranged with Comstar. They're not going to help them, but they're not going to help us. We may have bought some time. My suggestion is go for the heavy lifters. Let's take out their ability to move forces around the field. That'd be my suggestion, sir.
Any other thoughts?
I have a sort of game-related question for some of
Sure.
for a pop-up. Would Geralt know that? Is it possible to scramble the communications of multiple locations by jamming one site? Like if you get into the tower of the drop port or the airport and run jamming through the frequency, would it affect the other close by?
That's a really good question. Let me see if your character might know anything about that. Phew. All right. So you have program, that's computer stuff.
I also have data protocol
Oh, you have
equipment.
under data protocol. I'm gonna go with that's good enough to let you know. Okay, so 2 space communications are highly directional, like satellite dishes, or technically they're not satellite dishes, but they're highly directional antennas. So they are very resistant against jamming. They can punch through, especially ground based, like building based communication dishes. Just to get to the Nadar or Zenith points, they have to be incredibly powerful, and so jamming them is very difficult. Even if you were to get another satellite dish and pointed at the dish that like is transmitting, you're not going to actually, because physics, you're not going to actually screw it up too badly. You might knock it out for a little bit, but you would have to, like, you don't know how isolated these communication lines would be between like the different facilities, but there's a very real chance that you would have to take the control building for each of the 3 transmission arrays in order to do the like jamming idea. So you basically take the control building and you take control of the dish. The other option would be to just simply blow up the dishes. They are highly specialized electronics. Couple of LRMs into the wrong place and you knock the thing out of alignment, and it takes a technician to like point it at the right place again. So you could take something down temporarily with just a little bit of damage, or permanently pretty easily with mech-based weapons. But just like a jammer from your mech probably would do nothing.
More thinking of actually gaining access to one of them and just feeding gibberish through the lines.
Right. So again, highly directional. It's at the point where, you know, these 3 are relatively close physically on the planet. You can point a dish accurately enough that you could ignore the gibberish coming from one of the dishes and point it at a different dish and pick up clear signal from it.
Right. That's what I want to know, because he likely wouldn't pipe up with this idea then.
Right.
All right, I think we've got our mission objective. Now it just comes down to the tactics. What's the rank of the is it general or is it colonel, or what's the Oberst?
Oberst is colonel essentially.
Yep.
Yeah, basically like 1 rank up from you.
Okay, so I'll and Oberst is the rank, not the name.
Yes, her name is Vanya Lund.
So I'll turn to her and say, Oberst Lund, if we punch a hole through to, say, the spaceport and clear out the initial resistance, do you think that you could hold it behind us? And could you hold it if we withdraw to repair?
No. So, like I said, they have a lot of tanks and they have APCs. I only have really ground troops right now, and it'll take us a lot of time to put those mechs you guys captured for us back together again. And so if you took spaceport and then pulled out, anything you left behind we would not be able to hold. It's too close to the castle. They can get tanks there seconds, minutes. I don't know. Like 3 rounds, so like 30 seconds to a minute. They could get tanks from the castle to it, and we don't have anything that'll stand up to tanks for very long.
Gotcha. All right, then. It sounds like it's either a capture or destroy type mission. Do we have anybody that can pilot a drop ship out of there? I mean,
Gunnar slowly raises his hand.
Denver should be able to.
Yes. Yep.
All right. So we got some possibilities. We could try to say capture 2 and disable 1. I don't know that we can. Boy, that's biting off a lot. What time? Let's see. It's about 7 p.m., 7:30 at this point.
It is. I'm going to call it 8 p.m. 8 or 8:30. This part of the world, it's maybe dusk.
And the spaceport is what, about a half hour away from here? 45 minutes.
We can actually calculate that. All right, back to the overmap. So you guys are parked. Oop. So you're 26 kilometers away.
City.
It's city though. Yep. Although it wouldn't take you very long to hit some pretty major roads that are going directly to the spaceport, because that's really important, and so it's going to have a lot of major not thoroughfares, arteries feeding it. And heck, even like train lines feeding it.
So we could plan on full speed.
I would say you could get full walking speed to there. I wouldn't say you could do it whatever your slowest runner is. Well, no, your slowest runner is the Awesome. You could probably get the Awesome's running speed there, because everybody else is going to be faster.
So, Yvonne's suggestion here, about holding the port with the drop ships themselves, is that could we do that? I've never thought it was, siege reasonable. I wouldn't want to rely on them, because if they've got, well, we know that they've got a company or nearly a company of mechs still fieldable or likely fieldable.
Right. Lights and some mediums and a couple heavies, I think, is all they have left. Leopard class dropship.
At a dead sprint, Awesome, it would take us pretty much exactly half an hour to get there.
Okay, so half an hour is a good bet. Leopard has not actually all that many guns. It would be on par with a couple of assault mechs in firepower. But they are immobile, and they are easy to hit. And you know that you know from Vanya that they have. Oh, it helps if I go to that page as well. They have weapons trained at the dropships that are. But the designers thought they were powerful enough to threaten a dropship into not fighting. Not that that's necessarily true or not, but
definitely enough to damage them.
Correct.
So to potentially use the Leopards to hold the spaceport, we would need to take out all the turrets first.
Or Vanya says, or capture them. The turrets are controlled from the tower. So they have, target designation, some dumb AI. It's basically point and shoot AI in them. But to hit something the size of a dropship is easy, so it doesn't take much more than that. They also have manual operation if they have a couple, probably 4 or 5 stations there that if they had people who were trained in running heavy weapons, they could manually run things and be much more accurate than the computer system is.
Can those turrets turn all the way around, or are they fixed in a 270-degree arc inwards?
So turrets are located here, here, here. Basically, each
In all of, I was guessing all of the hexagons at the end of in the openings are turrets.
yeah. So those are not turrets themselves. Those are the end of the wall. The turrets are located just inside of that, facing, and they can. Their field of fire is blocked by the walls. They're intended to be used against things that are inside of the drop port, not they weren't designed to defend the drop port necessarily. Again, because if you have 4 guys, can have 4 guys, mobile forces can get around or destroy turrets pretty easily.
I might be able to do something about the turrets if I can get within range of the tower.
Maybe.
Yeah, I've got a data phase tab
Right.
I can try to use.
So if you even get to the tower, you might be able to just disable them.
Yeah, which is why I think I can do something about them if I can get close enough.
Right. So the dropships tend to land with the leopards tend to land with their aft towards the wall. Scouting reports indicate that it's probably true. So their nose and wing weapons would be able to cover much of the interior space of the drop port.
All right. So I'm thinking an assault from the south, because the north, well, it's hard to get around to the north, and we'd have to come through the civilian areas as well.
That would put you also coming down from the north would put you nearer the castle than the other stuff. You come in from the east. Come through the airport section as well. Gunnar says.
Is it turreted as well, or just the drop area?
They didn't turret up the civilian something. Civilians are scared of turrets something. I don't know. As far as we are aware, they did not turret up the civilian, at least civilian portions of the airport. And when they had aerospace fighters here, they would tend to truck them from the drop port to the airstrip to have them take off and then truck them back. They didn't store them in the civilian airport side.
That's an interesting possibility. We could go and enter through the north, enter the map through the east, and try to enter the drop port from the north. And that would get us behind 2 of them. Right.
GM thinks that doing that would put you in the wing arc of 2 leopards. And I closed the book, of course. I don't know if it would. I don't think it would put you in the nose arc of the leopard. Let me bring it up. Nope.
Yeah, we're all
You'll probably just jump right behind them for some of them.
So a leopard class dropship has 2 PPCs, 1 LRM-20, and 3 medium lasers in the nose. The wings each have 1 LRM-20, 1 medium laser, and 2 large lasers. And the aft has 2 medium lasers and 1 large laser.
Ouch.
They have they have about 100 points of armor. Well, they have 100 nose armor, 90 armor on each wing. And then I think the aft counts as wing armor, depending on where you're hitting it from.
What about a stealth approach? Do we have any options there?
We have vehicles. If you guys wanted to go in on foot and you're sneaky, we might be able to get you within shouting distance of someplace. Gets real hard to cover the 30, 90, 120, 150, 180 meters from, here to the tower, but 180 meters, dead sprint at under a minute. How long would it take you to do 180 meters at a dead sprint? Might be able to, like, there's enough stuff around there. You might be able to disable some guards, get there, and get into the tower before anybody notices. Like, speaking out of character, your GM says that is a valid try. I don't know if it'll work, but it's a valid try.
Point of order: the world's record for 200 meters is 19 seconds.
So probably
Let's make
under
it
a
3
minute
rounds.
it's under a minute for you guys. How long are rounds in Stars Without Number? 6 seconds?
I think so.
So probably at a dead sprint, I would say it'd probably take like 4 to 5 rounds. I don't have it
30
measured.
to
yet.
40 seconds, I would say. Realistic.
Yeah.
So another universe type question:
Yes.
if the dropships are launch ready, how long would it take to, assuming we get into the cockpit, what's the timeline from there to actually launching?
If they are fully fueled and somebody is just waiting for the person to hit a button to launch, they could be off the ground in 30 seconds.
Otherwise, it might be looking at more like 10 to 15 minutes to
Right.
prep it.
So assuming they're fully fueled but they're not push the button ready to launch, yeah, you're looking at like 10 to 15 minutes. If they need to be fueled or they need, like, they don't have anybody there, like, it could be 4 hours if it was like, fueling up and that sort of thing. So yeah. I would say pessimistic would be 3 rounds from you guys starting the assault to dropship takeoff. Optimistic would probably be longer than any battle we've ever had in the BattleTech tabletop. Basically, would not be able to take off in time.
Well, I guess I don't have any more strategy suggestions at this point. I'm assuming this is going to be next week before we actually do the assault. So maybe we
Yes.
call it here and plan some over the interim.
So yes, the plan I have is that we would discussion whatever you guys have for what the plan is, and then we would go ahead and call it, and then the actual assault on this, if you guys decide to do it man scale, we'll be basically using the map in Roll20. I may have to make some other maps smaller scale. But just roll 20. Otherwise, it'd be the BattleTech scale, so it would be on Megamech. So, any more information you want from Vanya before we decide to call it for the end of the day?
Here.
Brew,
Yeah.
anything else you want to ask before we call it?
I think we're good.
Okay. Suda, you got anything?
Negatory.
All right. Zerder, you got anything?
Just the offer, the suggestion of going through the southeastern entrance by mech instead of by foot, but mechs approaching could trigger dropships to be at least battle ready to shoot things.
Right. And in this area, you're not going to sneak, like, maybe you sneak a mech onto the map, but you're not going to sneak a mech around them. Well, okay. I should correct myself. There is, depending on how you guys want to do this, I may do double blind. And there'll be a lot of units on the enemy side. But do a double blind type thing where you don't know where they're at and they don't know where you're at other than if they have, sight. If we do Mexico, because there are, I will tell you that, but that Vanya is thinking that there are more units here than she thinks you guys could take in one assault, because there are at least 2 companies of tanks. You guys took out, or no, sorry, not 2. There's at least 1 company of tanks. There we go. In addition to at least another partial company because you guys took out a lance. And there's also the now short company of enemy mechs. So like stand and fight here would be dangerous unless you can get them defeat by detail on them. But yeah, that's what she would let you know. Jaeger, you got anything?
Nope. No, nothing immediate. Although, if you can post this map to Discord.
I can. I don't know if Discord likes a map that big. But I mean, it's available on. We'll just leave it on.
Or tell us what the map name is on.
So the map name
Megamech.
in Megamech, I can tell you that. It is under the 32 by 33 section. You do a 2 by 3 game board. You rotate all of the sections, and it is starting at. There, I could just copy paste this. Copy. Put it in the Mech Commander's corner. Paste. Upload. So that is the layout in Megamech for this map.
Major. Yvonne brings up a good point. Do we have artillery with us? Or access to artillery?
I don't believe we do. I don't think we anything really other than mechs. We don't have any infantry units or tracked vehicles or anything.
So Yvonne's idea of a distraction. Have something knocking on the front door while we go through the back. What about our own jump ships? I know that's a huge risk. Are they armed? Can we use them as a distraction from distance at the front while we can maneuver into the back?
Ooh. So. Vanya is not willing to risk a dropship. The commercially hired dropship wouldn't be willing to do anything this risky. And Yvonne is not willing to risk the Toraberu to do this either. They have light vehicles. They could try to make a distraction. Like if you wanted cover for, say, a ground, like a not mech assault, but like a ground assault, they could make a bunch of noise northwest of the castle to kind of draw eyes and stuff that direction. But it wouldn't necessarily last very long, because even with, I think you guys captured actually a couple of tanks from the Draconis that were moderately undamaged. Even with those units, they don't have a lot of like heavy enough to make the Draconis pay much attention units. A lot of light forces, soldiers on the ground, a few hundred. So they could definitely make some noise if you guys decided to like do foot assaults. But that's probably not going to distract them enough to get them to ignore mechs coming on the field. If you wanted to do foot assault with the mechs hanging out like far enough away that they're not detected, you could do something like that perhaps.
Like where you're going with it, Devin.
It was Yvonne's idea, not mine.
Fair enough.
As far as actual literal artillery, they haven't had the industrial base to build that. Kind of wistful eyes, like you guys, Vanya's like, yeah, you guys have been real clean in your attacks so far. You haven't done much damage to the industrial base of Radal. If we manage to capture Radal's industrial base, we could convert factories to start producing tanks and artillery pieces and similar General Hermanson has been really pleased with your work so far, as far as like how you've been conducting the battles so far.
Oh, it's good to have a happy client.
In optimal conditions, what did we say again was the takeoff for those drop ships? In an optimal situation, if we hit them, what are we looking at our best case scenario of getting them before they could take off?
The minimum time before they leave would be on the order of 3 rounds. So in Mega Mech, 3 combat rounds would be 30 seconds.
And what is the damage they would have to take in 3 rounds to basically take them off the board or disable them, at least? We don't really want to destroy them, but disable them so they couldn't take off. Is 3 rounds enough time with the armament we're bringing?
So you would have to reduce. So, I have seen a company of mechs destroy a union in, it was either 2 or 3 combat rounds. Went from fully healthy to dead, and that company of mechs had worse pilots and less good mechs than you guys have. So
that's just one, though, right?
What's that? So there's
3 of them there.
Yeah, so that was one. So it would be likely after the first round of damage, if you guys really poured it onto them, possibly during the first round, you'd start doing motive damage to them. So to disable the thing without destroying it, you would have to do, well, you guys have been fighting tanks, so you understand. Motive damage enough to get them to not lift off, and to basically surrender. and not do enough damage to just flat out destroyed by damage them. I would think every dropship you hit, I would think you guys in your mechs, assuming you could get the line of fire on them from range, you could probably take out a dropship consistently probably every 3 rounds.
That changes things major, I think. I don't know.
It takes so they have a lot of armor. So they can take a surprising amount of damage, and then suddenly, because they're vehicles, you can do crits through armor and basically disable them. So it can go surprisingly fast once you've reduced their armor enough that you start getting crit chances through the armor.
Yeah, I'd really rather capture 1 or 2 would be better if we can. But yeah, even if we can disable them, then we can go after them piece by piece.
You guys would have knowledge. They're at the major drop port for the planet. If they're not fully destroyed, there's probably the equipment to repair them here if you captured it whole.
And it still works for the enemy to repair them as well, right?
Right. So if you damage one, disable it, and then pull out and like go to repair your mechs, then they're gonna work to just get the thing moving enough to get it out of range. Oh, as far as Vanya is aware, they have never seen artillery pieces. The enemy has never put your artillery pieces on the field either. Since that came up. All right. Any more clarifications?
I don't know
Sounds.
if you saw Yvonne had a question in chat.
Making mech-based distraction. What about making mech-based distraction? They've got Gunnar and maybe they could get 1 dropship with that sort of thing. Like capturing the south dropship with troops. If you guys made a big enough stink somewhere else to draw forces off and basically get people pointing in a different direction, that's how they captured the Toraberu, is basically snuck some troops aboard the drop ship, made a big stink. Troops took over the drop ship, lifted it off planet and directly into the waiting arms of a local jump ship. Basically burned out of system as fast as the remaining drop ships basically got ahead of them and made it out of system. That said, with the mobile forces here in town, just getting the dropship out of town might be enough to keep it captured permanently, just because it's so dangerous. Like they know there are, you like could land if you guys captured a leopard, you could land the Union next to wherever the leopard lands and have more mechs and stuff than they could ever bring to bear.
On the note of Yvonne's idea, what if we send a bunch of mechs to make a stink somewhere, and we get, however we can get as many of the jump ships we can off. Denver could probably pilot one, I think someone said.
Yes.
Yes.
And Gunnar can pilot one.
Yes.
So if we get the turrets offline and get the two northern ones and just burn them out of there at the same time.
Remember, too, it's best case scenario, it's 30 seconds to lift off. Likely case scenario, it's 10 to 15 minutes to take off. It's going to take some coordination. You're going to have to press the castle for a while. Unless you're sneaky.
Yeah, and they're going to be able to communicate. I mean, local communications we could probably jam, I suppose.
Right. That's like getting jamming set up would be, as long as Geralt's mech is on the field, you're pretty sure you could jam pretty much anything except for point-to-point laser communications, which the dropships are capable of.
Which is where my idea of taking two of them so that there would be less potential hostile guns on the field if we need to wait a long time.
Right. So Vanya says, well, so the idea would be we sneak people aboard two of the drop ships, get a status update on them, how launch ready they are, and then from there decide when to actually launch an attack so that the people who are snuck aboard the dropship can actually take over them and take off. So make sure they're jump or drop lift off ready before we actually launch distraction.
Yeah, something like that. And I can try to work my wonders on the turrets from the control tower.
Well, we've done it before. I don't think you were part of that, Geralt, but Gunnar was. So we've done it once. They may have changed their readiness after. Oh, they're probably watching that a lot closer nowadays. Because fool me once, shame on me, and they don't want to get fooled a second time. So I might suggest against doing that just because we might get both teams killed. Just because they're more prepared for that sort of attack. Not impossible. We can try it. I'm just saying that method's going to be super dangerous.
We definitely don't want to get anybody killed, so we'll figure something.
She nods. Let me know, you guys. Let me know when you're going to kick this off and what your plans are. You guys. She leaves the map on the table. You guys can keep the map. I'm going to go see if I can get any more scouts into the area. I mean, they already know we're sending scouts in, so the more scouts I can get to you, the better information I can get you. And she gives you guys a salute, and heads back out of the dropship. So leaving Gunnar, Geralt, Caleb, whoever else. Yvonne, I'm assuming all you guys are there.
Yeah.
All right, well, I think at that point we will go ahead and call it a stream. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Thank you to the players for playing. We'll be back again with this in 2 weeks to find out what the plans are and if they're going to work or not. So thanks, everyone, for watching. It's been great having you here. Bye.